Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Therapy Hour. My name is Nathaniel Oke. I am your psychotherapist, and I'll be taking you through today's exploration, today's topic. Um, so, thank you very much for joining me and taking the time out to come and bless me with your presence today. All right, I hope you can see me okay. Cool. Hello. All right, for today's therapy hour, we're going to be talking about defining what it means to be happy. What does happiness mean? So today's topic is going to be defining happiness. Now, the topic on the face of it may seem quite vague or quite philosophical, but I'm going to explore and explain why it isn't so philosophical, but it can be a very strategic and structured way of looking at things, a very structured, explorative way of actually looking at your life, looking at where you are right now, and looking at how to determine your own form of happiness. So I want to say hello to everybody that's come here to bless me for today. So I'm going to go straight into it by talking about what exactly is happiness. What is the definition of happiness? What does that even mean? Is it an outlandish dream and utopian ideal when we're talking about happiness? Or could it be something more tangible, something more attainable, something that we can actually reach and grab and understand the formula for it? That is what today's session is going to be about. Exploring therapeutically what happiness means for each and every one of you. So, sit down, relax. You may be in the kitchen cooking. You may be on the sofa chilling. Wherever you are, I want you to sit down, and all I ask of you is your presence, your thoughts, your opinions, and that childlike intrigue to explore something. Even the thing you thought all these years you already knew what it meant. Today, what I want from you is to actually explore and be open-minded to what it could possibly mean for you. So now, we're comfortable, I hope. We're relaxed. We're looking forward to what exactly today's session entails. Right? Okay. So what I want you to do is, in this moment, if you were here with me last week, welcome back. If this is your first ever therapy hour, welcome. This space is your space. All right? And for today, we're going to be exploring a topic. And when we explore topics in the therapy hour, we're not looking at it from Nathaniel's point of view. I want each and every one of you to personalize everything that I'm bringing up today. Because your own opinions is vital. Your own opinions actually feeds and helps others within this space. So when I'm talking about happiness, I want you to take a moment right now, and I want you to actually think, what exactly does happiness mean? Right? I didn't want to go into the dictionary. I didn't want to use Uncle Google to find out exactly what happiness means. So what I did was, hold on one second. Let me just grab my pad. What I did was, I actually jotted down what I felt happiness is. So this is my definition, all right? Don't kill me if it differs from yours, but like I said, we are all personalizing this moment. And your own individual thoughts and minds and memories and experiences and background and history defines how you interpret and see things. So for me, my definition of happiness is as follows. A euphoric feeling of well-being and joy. Very fleeting at times. So a euphoric feeling of well-being and joy. Fleeting at times. That is my definition of what happiness is. Feel free to type in and share your definition of what happiness is. All right? So when people think about happiness, they think of smiling a lot, of just being on a high, right? And that phrase, a high, I'm going to talk about it shortly. All right? I'm going to talk about that very shortly. What that feeling of a high, what does that actually mean? Is going to become very handy as we go through this. All right? Feel free to drop in your session, your comments, your thoughts, your opinions, your challenges even. Feel free to challenge this. Because like I said before to you, this space is all our spaces. There's no judgment within here. So for me, happiness is a euphoric feeling of well-being and joy. Now, in sessions, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my therapeutic process. The first contact I have with a client usually is a consultation, a very short consultation. Hi, my name is Nathaniel. How can I help you? I want therapy, and these are some of my presenting issues. Based on what they're saying, I'll book them in for an assessment. Now, assessment based on COVID is done online. So that means I've got clients at different parts of the world. So I've got clients from Canada, I've got clients from Holland, I've got clients in certain African countries as well. So that is one of the beauty of working online. But I digress. Doing an assessment will determine that in that moment, we are sitting across each other, obviously with a screen separating us, but we try as much as possible to connect. And in that assessment, I am asking someone what their presenting issues are. Basically, how can I help you? So in that moment, the client is expressing to me some of the issues that they're having. And at this point, I'm taking notes because what I want to do is I want to try and understand what is going on for them. The physiology, the mental, the psychology, all of that I'm trying to understand in that situation. And at the end of that, once I've decided that, you know what, I feel I can help you, I can work with you, and the client feels equally comfortable to work with me, what we do then is we arrange the first session. And what we determine in the first session is, what are your goals for therapy? What are your aims for therapy? What do you want to get out of therapy? And through the last 13 years of me being a psychotherapist, the one answer has prevailed over all of them. And that answer is, Nathaniel, I want to be happy. Now, hearing that and understanding what happiness is to each and every one of us is different. My counter question is usually, what does happiness mean for you? What is your definition of what happiness is? And most people cannot answer me that question in the first session. I'm glad to say that most people, if not all, can describe to me what happiness means to them at the end of our therapeutic working together. However, in the first session, most people do not know what that exactly that is or how they can get there. But all they know is, I do not feel happy and I want to be happy, but I don't know how to be happy. And it's usually because most people do not know what happiness is for them. And due to the beauty of movies and songs, a lot of people usually parrot or mimic what they see as happiness. I want to run through the fields. Looking outside your window right now, if you live in England, you'll see that maybe right now it's not the perfect time for you to attain that visual form of happiness of running through the fields with no care, no regard in the world. So I want you guys to try and determine, and this is what I do in sessions. We explore, actually, tell me what happiness means for you. I've got some answers here, Sharif, being and maintaining a happy state of mind. Natalie, my aim is to be content and let go of past hurts. Okay, we're getting a little bit more detailed. Content, we're going to explore that. Contentment is another word for happy, but maybe a watered down version of happiness. So we need more meat on that bone, Natalie. But let go of past hurts can be a route into understanding what happiness is for you. All right? So hello everyone for joining me again. If this is your first time in there, I want you right now to explore, what does happiness mean for you? What's your definition of happy? Most of the time, I want to be happy, Nathaniel. This is why I want to get out of therapy. I want to be happy. So you want to be happy. What does that mean? The way I describe it is going shopping and saying, I'm going to go and buy something from the shops. But you pick up everything, you come back home and you're not happy. Why? Because you didn't know what you wanted to get in the shop in the first place. So no matter whatever you get, you cannot be satisfied or happy with it because you have not identified what it is that I want. Let me work towards getting it. So once I get it, there's that euphoric joy, that satisfaction, that feeling of well-being. So that is what I want you guys to label your own, not mine. I want you guys to label your own. I've already said what mine is. All right, what my general definition of happiness is. We've got the state of satisfaction, contentment, and clarity. Okay. When you talk about a state, I think that's close to the last phrase in my definition, which is fleeting at times. So my definition of happiness, once again, is a euphoric feeling of well-being and joy. Usually fleeting. That's what happiness means for me. You know, you call your friend, you bust a joke or two, and you are laughing and you feel good. You get off the phone, the feeling's still there a little bit. And then slowly, the feeling wanes. A state of satisfaction. Yeah, contentment and clarity. I like that. Clarity is important. So for all of you, explore what exactly is your definition of happiness. Right? The freedom to do as I choose and let go of the resentments. Do as I choose and let go of the resentments. Okay. So from there, from that definition, Natalie, what I'm hearing is a sense of, right now, if I'm not happy, it's because I do not feel the freedom to do as I choose. There's certain constraints on me that's preventing me from attaining that level of freedom for my actions to be based on what my choice is. And there is that thing there again, where you talk about past hurts, but right now you're talking about resentments. So now we are exploring exactly, personally, what that happiness is for you. There's an argument in which happiness is such a fleeting mood. That is it something to attain, to seek? Is it something to aim for? Is that a goal to aspire to? But that is a more philosophical point that we may explore. We've got John T14 here saying, understanding that happiness is not a place or a destination to arrive at. It's a general feeling of contentment, knowing that my mood days outnumber my bad days, and having hope that it will all work. Oh, philosophical, but also very true. Also, a very balanced way of looking at things. So, for us, for these moments, for the next 40 minutes of the therapy hour, let's explore the different ways in which we can identify what happiness means for us. Can you all remember the last time you felt happy? Can you all remember that moment when you felt happy? It could be a moment, it could be a longer state of mind, it could be a period, it could be anything. Think back to what you defined as happy for you and try and connect to when that was. All right? Define what your happiness is. Try and connect to the last time you felt happy. And let's try to explore how we identify what happiness is for you. Okay? I want you to try and look at questions. to ask yourselves, when we're talking about what is happiness, some may seek happiness in relationships. I was having a good conversation with a friend of mine today. And my friend, he was very open and expressed that he was seeking happiness so long in relationships. If I'm not single, I'll be happy. If I have someone, I'll be happy. If I can find someone that loves me, I'll be happy. How many of you honestly have felt that way and thought that way? Seeking external source of happiness. If I have that outfit, oh yes, I'll be so happy. If I have that car, I'll be happy. If I buy that house, whew, I'll be a happy man. That's it. I'm good. External source of happiness. So my happiness is directly linked to that external source, to that girlfriend, to that boyfriend, to that job, to that house, to that car, to that outfit. And when that joy or happiness is short-lived, it's the relationship that didn't work out. It's her. She's the one. She's the reason why I'm not. Okay, you know what? It's just the wrong girl. I'm going to seek another girl or another boy or another job. Let me change my car. Let me get something flashy. Because let's look at those things, those external factors. Let's look at them and try to understand why they may not be the answer to happiness. Number one on that list is they are external, which means it is away from you. It is not you. And when we put so much onus on that external thing that is not us, what are we saying to ourselves? We're saying to ourselves that I am not enough to be happy. I need that outfit to put on to feel happy. Because when I put that outfit on, other people are seeing it and complimenting me and say, oh, you look good. And that makes me feel good. And it makes me feel good for a short while. Or someone will say, nice car, I love your car. And that has the same effect, an external source. But when I get back home and the car is in the drive or I'm in my bed and nobody's talking about my car, what am I left with? So, when we seek an external source for happiness, it is fleeting, it is short, and it is something that we need to top up regularly. Oh, I need to top it up. I need to get another outfit. Oh, I'm going to kill them with this outfit. And with clients, what I ask them to do is identify the things within yourself, within your life, within yourself that you like. Think about moments that you enjoy. Think about activities that you derive joy from. I want you to try and think for yourself, what activities do you partake in that brings you joy? Keep it clean, it's the Sabbath. But also, I want you to try and identify things within yourself that you like. Explore things within yourself, internal, not external, internal, that you like. Let's try and identify these things right in this moment. Because we've already seen, or I've already explored, external source of happiness can be very fleeting, and it can also have the power of you relying on those things in order for you to be happy. So when we're seeking it elsewhere, when the elsewhere is no longer there, what happens then? When the external source, as defined by its name, external, is not there, what happens to your joy then? So let's try and identify within ourselves our own internal source of contentment, happiness, satisfaction, joy, elation. Lovely comment there. We are responsible for our own happiness, and it's not up to anyone else to make us happy. But so many of us seek external validation, external source of happiness. Why? Well, I know the answer to my own question, but I want you to answer that question for yourself. Why are you seeking the external source of happiness? Why are you seeking the outside rather than the within? For you, why are you seeking that? We're going to get a little bit deep here. I know, but this is the therapy hour. That's what we're supposed to do here. We're supposed to explore and go deep. You don't have to share it if you don't feel comfortable, but I want you to at least challenge yourself in understanding, why do I seek external source of happiness rather than look within to understand what I have, what my source of happiness is? Is it, as stated in the comments there, removing accountability? Well, it's not my fault. That thing didn't work out, or that person is not there, or whatever it may be. Could it be the instant there, right now? If I go out, I know I'm going to be happy about it. If I have a drink, I know I'm going to be loose, I'm going to be joyful. I don't have to overthink, as Ohima said there. I don't have to overthink. I don't have to put so much effort into it. I know if I go out, I'm going to have fun and it's going to be great. Yay. What happens when you get back home, Ohima? Ronke and Ohima are in sync there. The sense of it being instant. The sense of it being immediate. I'm feeling down. Let me go straight to that source. I know that source is going to represent. And I'm going to be feeling good afterwards. I don't have to overthink it. There we go. Yeah. So right now, let's explore. Imagine if, Ohima, Ronke, imagine if your form of instant joy is going to the clubs, right? That will always make me feel good. So let me go to the clubs. What happens now when COVID it's got other plans? if the reliance of external source of happiness is prevalent, what happens when that external source is no longer available to you? It's not there. What happens then? Like I said in last week's session, and probably the session before that, the person you spend most time with in this world is yourself. The person whose company you share the most is yourself. The person whose opinion and validation that means the most is yourself. And that's internal. So let's have a conversation about, okay, let me get to know this person and understand what makes this person tick. What hurt exists that is acting as a roadblock to this person. What is the trauma that I'm carrying around with me that I need to seek external source of happiness just to avoid dealing with the internal pain, resentment, hurt, trauma, unhappiness, sadness, low self-esteem. I need that immediate fix. And I talked earlier, I said the phrase, getting a high will be important. Another analogy that I use here when people are seeking happiness is imagine a drug addict chasing the next high. That, for me, is a very apt analogy to describe this. Think about it. I describe happiness as a euphoric feeling of well-being and joy, fleeting. A drug addict, I imagine, could also describe getting that high as a euphoric feeling of well-being and joy, forgetting all their pain, all the trauma, all the hurt. In that moment of high. So that high goes on for a little while. And then when the high is no longer there, the clubs close. And we have to get back to work for this week. Or whatever it may be. Then the high becomes a low. And then we plateau. And we stay in that state. And that's the state in which clients may come to me and saying, I want to be happy. I want to get back up here. Without understanding or identifying what actually up here means for them without the external source. So let's explore it. Let's get into it. What is your internal source of happiness? 3, 4, 5 things you like about yourself that makes you smile, that makes you feel good, that makes you feel content. Identify that internal source of happiness. Could it be that sense of achievement? Could it be your character, your personality, your pride in certain things that you have done or you are capable of doing? Could it be your positive outlook on the world? Could it be the brilliance of being a friend to others? Seeing the good in others? Could it be putting music on and enjoying dancing by yourself and it feels good? Could it be going to bed at night knowing that you've done right things today? That opportunities has presented itself, but you have done the right things according to your morals. identify within yourself what makes you happy, but not external. So we're talking about helping others. That, the altruism of that could also be, actually, it makes me feel good when I do that. So, yeah, helping others. Now, when you're helping others, there is that internal thing there, but also there's that external thing. Others. What if there are no others there? What if it's one of those weekends, you by yourself, your phone battery is dead, you're not doing anything there? What if there are no others there? But including myself, brilliant. So let's try and look at those different things within yourself that you feel the happiest in. I'm fab, yeah, big Ed. You're fab, yeah? All right. Sorry, I'm just moving my laptop here a little bit closer. Yeah, you're fab. So let's look at that within yourself. Feel free to big head yourself right now. Not big up yourself, big head yourself right now. That's a new phrase I've just invented right now. Feel free to use it. Okay? So, big head yourself right now. New knowledge and ideas. Pick up concepts quite quickly. And do you feel proud of yourself in your ability to do those things, Ohima? Do you? And it's understanding what exactly do we feel in that situation. Do we feel proud of yourself when you are loving and you help others, when you discover new knowledge and ideas and you pick up concepts? Because that's the point I'm trying to get here. It's understanding an internal source of happiness. Internal, not relying on external factors. Reading, generating ideas, listening to ebooks or listening to your books. Let's try and understand within all yourselves. I want you guys to take the moment right now to identify what it is for you. Great cook. So when you taste it, you're like, ooh, this feels good. This is the one, right? So go on. I want you to stay. Don't mind me. I'm just charging my battery right now. There we go. All right. So yeah, in that moment, go for it. Identify within yourselves what it is that makes you happy. Solving problems, learning something new. Yes. Identify what within yourself you like that makes you smile, that makes you happy, that makes you proud of yourself. I want you to try and explore that, because that's what we're looking at today. We're looking at defining what happiness is for us, not for anybody else. Now, once we've identified those things right now of what we enjoy, solving problems, new knowledge, cooking, helping others, being kind to others, being honest, being proud of yourself, that you are maintaining your character even though the world may be trying to shake you, but you're holding steady there. Those are sources of internal happiness. Now, I want us to take it to a little bit to the next level right now. Because you can stay at home and you can be cooking all day and you could be helping others all day. Is that happiness for you? In therapy, when we talk about happiness, we're talking about what exactly is holding you back. Because sometimes happiness, as we've described, the external source, is a distraction. Is a welcome distraction. And what is it a distraction from? What is your constant source of unhappiness? What makes you sad? what makes you hurt? What are you seeking the external source of happiness to cover up, to stop feeling? That is the next thing we need to explore within this. What is your trauma? What is your pain that you are seeking fleeting external happiness? What exactly within you, that voice, that phrase, that feeling, that you would do anything to avoid feeling? I want you to identify it for yourself. Like I said, this is an open space, but you don't have to share it. But feel free to, and I'll be able to explore it with you. That is preventing you to seek and to attain your sense of contentment and happiness within yourself. What is that pain that's pushing you away from attaining that? What is that hurt, the resentment, the trauma, the loneliness, the isolation, whatever it may be for yourself? Would happiness be the absence of those feelings? It could be. Happiness for you could be, I want to stop feeling the pain. Happiness to you could be, I want to resolve the trauma. I want to stop remembering these things. I want to get over it. I want to heal from it. Because once we seek in external sources, it tells me as a therapist, what are you escaping from? If we regularly seek external sources of happiness, and your definition of happiness is going raving, your definition of happiness is going for drinks with friends, your definition of happiness is having a big house, a big car, nice clothes, so other people can tell me how brilliant I am, because I don't feel brilliant by myself. Not feeling good within yourself. Whatever it is, let's explore that. Because without that exploration, I can tell you different ways to get happy. Of course I can. And it's easy. Well, it's relatively easy. What do you like doing? Well, I like doing this. Do that more often. Next. What do you like doing? I like cooking. Cook for 200 people. Next. But when the cooking is over, and then you've got the dishes to clean, are you happy then? Without actually looking at the source of unhappiness that we are seeking external source of happiness to get over, we will never truly understand what real long-term happiness is. Because we will be running, and that thing we are running from is as fast as we are. So, before we start running, let's explore what exactly within it is. What is it that you are running from, that you want to get over, that you want to heal from? So we're talking about, thank you guys for your honesty and your openness here. We're talking about pain. We're talking about, I want to get over this. We're talking about childhood trauma, eating disorders, lack of self-worth. All of those things are pointing, directing you to, this is the source of my unhappiness. But let me buy that outfit. People will look at me, tell me how good I look. But okay, that's good. Let me stay here for a little bit, because then I don't have to deal with this. Let me stay here. All right, when is the next outing? When is the next rave? When is the next thing we have to go to? Let me get another outfit. Let me get that. Let me get people objectifying me, because at least they see me, at least they value me. That's good. if I get enough people saying these things, I'll start believing and I'll start feeling good about myself. This is happiness for me. Yeah, I like going clubbing. Yeah, I like going out. Why? Well, I'm with friends, we bust jokes. Okay, why else? Well, people tell me I look good. Okay. We are seeking that validation elsewhere because that internal source is depleted. It needs nurturing. So let's identify where exactly it needs. And let's start the process of healing it and then nurturing it. So, weirdly, the source of unhappiness, the source of happiness is dealing with the source of unhappiness. So imagine right now, talking about your childhood trauma, eating disorders, lack of self-worth. If you explore those feelings and put them all out, which would be a very, very difficult process. I can tell you that in working with people dealing with trauma, especially childhood trauma, because childhood trauma has a way of defining who we are, our understanding of self. All right? It has a way of just letting us see the world through the eyes of that child. And for so long, it'd be very difficult for you to think of an alternative because that childhood trauma has defined how you see yourself, how you see the world, and how, importantly, you see the world seeing you. So, working on that, imagine what that would feel like when that trauma is no longer following you around as powerful as it is right now. Imagine if that sense of self-worth is greater than it is right now. Imagine if the feeling of a need to deal with those feelings, eating disorders, right? People's talking about, oh yeah, eating disorders, about, yeah, you just want to look good. No. It is a reaction to something else. Dealing with that something else will go a long way in dealing with the trauma, dealing with the eating disorder, and the sense of worth. Talking about divorce, dealing with rejection, feeling isolated after being left after 40 years of marriage. Now that is a heavy burden. Because that burden hasn't been worked through, what we're looking at right now is what is the fallout of that experience. I've been married with someone for 14 years, they've left me. My sense of self-worth has been punched in the guts right there. Everything I thought was real, was long-lasting, has just been slapped right there. I do not recognize who I am anymore. So let me seek external sources of happiness, something fleeting, something immediate that'll make me feel good so I don't feel like this. Like I said, the definition of your happiness could be also found in dealing with your source of unhappiness. The decision for your husband to leave, the decision after 14 years of marriage, after the forevers in your mind and the silver hair. We don't do gray hair, we do silver. All right? And once that promise has been broken, it's almost like this is my world, and now my world is shattered. Who am I? I once identified myself as the wife, the mother, Mrs. And it's now about exploring and getting to know yourself again. getting to know who you are. I want you to ask yourself, and everyone here that has experienced what the pastry chef has experienced, everyone here that is seeking to heal from the pain, either childhood trauma or something more current. I want you to spend a moment and try to say to yourself, who am I without the externals? That means without a husband, as much as you love your children, without your children, without your job, without your friends. Who are you? What do you identify about yourself? We're going to go internal. What do you identify about yourself in these moments? Who are you? Ask yourself, who am I? Because we need to start from scratch. So when we're talking about childhood trauma, who am I right now? Am I the trauma that I went through as a child? Am I the woman that felt abandoned? Am I the man that doesn't feel strong enough but cannot open his mouth and seek help because of fear that it may be looked at as weak? Am I the lonely person that feels nobody's going to love me or want me? We are seeking happiness in the wrong place if we're looking outside for it, if we're looking at others to give it to us. I'm not going to give you the platitudes that some therapists may give right now, which is, you're lovely, you're beautiful, don't worry about it. That's not therapy. Those are platitudes, not based in the real. I want you to be real within yourself and start identifying right now. If you've got a pen and paper, start identifying, who am I? What is it within myself do I like? List the things about yourself that you love. And I want you to start nurturing it. I want you to start watering it and feeding it. I like reading, read more. I like writing. I want to read what you're writing. I like telling jokes while I'm listening. I like cooking. Feed me. I like helping others. Feel free. I like giving. There's so much out there that needs right now. But identify who you are in these moments. What is it about yourself that you like? 14 years of marriage, children, beautiful. Those are the positives of it. But I want you to identify yourself, because I don't want you to identify yourself as somebody's wife or some children's mother or somebody's friend or somebody's daughter. I want you to explore who you are as a person, and let's get to know that person. So, pastry chef, if you don't mind sharing with us some of those things that you've identified within yourself that you like, that you know to be true, that you're satisfied and content with, that you smile when you think about it. About yourself. It could be stretch marks. It could be the way you dance. It could be your sense of humor. It could be how cuddly you may be. It could be how naturally caring you are, how smart you are, how you pick up new languages so quickly. It could be anything, but I want you, it's important to explore and determine right now. Start that process right now. For every one of you that's going through pain or through some form of trauma, sadness, loneliness, I want you to identify what that is. Your husband leaving you, that may seem like what it is, but I'm here to tell you, working with me in therapy, we are going deeper than that. That is an event. That is not the source of your unhappiness. That is an event that occurred, that happened to you. Granted. But what I want you to do, every one of you that are going through this process right now, once you've identified what the event is, once you've identified it, I want you to look at what exactly about that event is making me sad, lonely, it's making me unhappy, it's hurting me. Your husband leaving you is an event that happened to you. But the pain that's coming through from me right now is the sense of what? What is the effect of that? So, Pace Chef, thank you very much for coming back, answering that question. What is it about yourself you love? We've got Ronke with, I like that, I'm naturally happy. We've got Pastry Chef that's come back with, I like that I'm creative, beautiful, engaging with people, growing food, singing. Well, you've got a lot going on right there, if you don't mind me saying. I'm looking at those things you've listed. I'm thinking, I think I can identify maybe one or two of those things that I have within myself. The singing part, no, I don't sing for free. You'll have to pay me for that situation. All right. The creative part, yes, I connect with that. Beautiful, yes. Engaging with people, yes. All right. Now you identify those things. Think about this for a moment. Your children are not here. Your husband is gone. Deuces. See you later. I wish you happiness where you are, because I don't wish anybody sadness. Now you are there in your own space, and the music is on, and you are singing, and you're creating something. You are genuinely being yourself within yourself. And in that moment, I want you to step out. This week, I sent out a little video on mindfulness. So this is your own form of mindfulness I want you to do. I want you to step out of your own body, and I want you to, in that moment, to appreciate all the things you have listed about yourself. So you're almost looking from out to within of yourself. I want you to identify those things and spend time in that moment looking at how creative you are, how beautiful you are, how engaging you are. I want you to, in that moment, it could be 10 minutes, and I want that to be your focus as you breathe in all the positivity of the things you've listed. And then I want you to breathe out all the fear and negativity of the effect of what's happened to you. And just spend some time going through that. And you do that regularly every day. And when you do that regularly every day, it's not so far-fetched and it's not so difficult to grab what it is about me that I love. Because I'm constantly going through a conscious process of identifying it and paying homage to it. So when we're talking about the self-doubt and the body dysmorphia, maybe the eating habits and the childhood traumas or the hurts or the resentments, when we're focusing on those things, it's very difficult for us to identify the things within ourselves that we could be proud of. if I'm looking at the negative constantly, how am I going to identify the things I'm proud of? So for me, we're talking about affirmations. Affirmations can be difficult for a lot of people. And the reason why that is it can seem quite empty. I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I'm this. If you don't feel those things and you haven't got the receipts for those feelings, it feels empty, right? It feels like I am saying those words to convince myself something I do not believe in. But what I want you to do that's different from general affirmations is I want you to identify within yourself. Purple lobster, I like that. To identify within yourself what you like. What you have identified within yourself that you enjoy, that is great, that you're proud of, that makes you smile. Just by the name alone, you sound creative. Then those things that you've identified, that's what I want you to focus on. Not empty affirmations. I am beautiful. I am this. Okay, you may be. Or you may not feel like you are. But I want you to identify. Imagine if you can personalize your affirmations. I am beautiful. I'm a great singer. I am creative. Identify those things. Then you are going this far away from getting to the happiness that you seek. Because you are eradicating the unhappiness that is stopping you from even understanding what happiness means for you. So, take a moment as we're winding out today's session. I can see here, how many minutes have we got? We've got maybe about 3 or 4 minutes to the end. Let me just summarize, like I usually do at the end of sessions. For today's session, we're talking about defining happiness. I came up with my line of happiness is, what did I call it again? Hold on, let me go to my pad. Is that feeling of euphoria and well-being and joy, fleeting. And all of you, most of you have blessed us with your own definitions of it. And a lot of people have understood and stated that we're seeking outside sources, external source of happiness. We're seeking something else, a big house, other people to look at us and be like, that's the guy at the top. Well, but when they stop shouting and screaming, then what happens then? What are you left with? The feeling of emptiness, the feeling of I'm not good enough, the feeling of nobody's going to want me, the feeling of sadness, the feeling of I'm a failure. That then becomes what we need to tackle and deal with. And the more we deal with it, there's less for us to try and distract ourselves from. There's less need for us to seek external source of happiness. Identify for you what it is that is holding you back from actually experiencing the world as you want to experience it. What makes you happy within? Once we've identified it, let's feed it and let's water it and nurture it. And then once that starts building up, before you realize it, when they ask you to go outside, to go clubbing or raving, you're like, oh, not tonight. I'm taking my hair out, or I'm cooking, or I'm listening to this podcast. And then that source of happiness becomes more within than without. I want to thank you all for taking the time here. And for those people that have shared, please respect the confidentiality of this space. I know that we will not be speaking about this outside the space. I want to thank you, and I look forward to you joining me next week Sunday for another session of the Therapy Hour. Take care. Bye-bye.